Papa Garcia, Natalie and Nusi from the forthcoming album Bring Me the Head of Papa Garcia. Catchy that. Quite retro. It's a bit of Elton John and
all sorts thrown in,
yeah, lovely. Right, here we go. Quick clues again, and then we better do Educating Ricky.
Well, this is the favourite bit of the show for me now. Educating Ricky.
I love it.
I can't. Well, yeah. I'm anxious all week.
Well, just quickly on those clues, just in case people need to know again. Stop throwing that fruit about, CB. That Scottish fella's made a bit of an error. M. And, God, you can make loads of toast with M. That's, G.
Alright, brilliant. Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. It's email only.
Oh, I need some learning. I need some knowledge, Carl. Educate me.
I might be able to help you.
Go on.
We've got 3 things, as always. I'll give them a little, heading to tease you, as to which one you want to learn first.
Yeah.
First one is the tip included?
Is the tip included?
Like it.
Second one, I want to come here in hindsight.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one, am I gonna have to thump you?
Am I gonna have to thump you? Okay, and you've trawled, what, the internet?
So, so if I can get into the mindset of this plan, is the tip included? Well, obviously, that's probably not gonna be about a waiter. It's gonna be if that's someone losing the end of his knob, I assume. Am I gonna have to thump you? That's a man who lost his arm in a fight, but then picked it up with the other arm and smacked him with it. What was the middle one?
I want to come here in hindsight.
Hindsight.
Hindsight?
Yeah, it's someone was blinded by baked beans.
Sure.
So what are you going for then?
I think I better go for, am I gonna have to thump you?
Right, well this isn't... I've been struggling again, to be honest with you. Searching high and low for stuff, and some of these I had to leave till this morning. So
right, because there's just not enough knowledge out in the world, is there, that you don't know about?
I found out about something in the week about a guy who, was playing tug-of-war.
This is bonus material, isn't it?
He was playing tug-of-war.
Oh, his arm came off.
Only his arm come off.
Yeah, he got caught up in the rope, yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't get caught up in the rope, he just was trying that hard and didn't want to lose. He kept holding it.
But he allowed his arm to be pulled off?
He really wanted to win. And
well,
the other team pulled it and his arm come off.
No.
Well.
I don't know who to believe.
Well, think about it. If he's gripping...
Yeah.
As soon as there's tension, like the arm coming out of the socket, the hand might release. I think his arm got caught up in the rope. And so it was involuntary, as opposed to him going, well, my arm's coming off, but I'm not gonna lose this! You might be right.
That's the fact.
That's a bonus, that's a bonus fact.
Yeah, well,
that's educated me.
Well...
A man lost his arm? Oh, interesting. Go on.
Am I gonna have to thump you?
Yeah.
Do you know the saying, shut your face?
Yeah, I've heard the well-known Shakespeare, innit?
Yeah. Do you know how it came about?
No, Joe Dolce?
No,
go on.
It's, ages ago.
Oh, yeah, literally, literally.
Like, knights who wore armour.
Okay.
That's, armour gonna have to thump you, that's how it came about.
Okay, armour.
They wore all the stuff, and they had the helmet, and say if they're guarding something at night, stood outside a castle or something,
yeah.
And there's probably gonna be 2 of them, right? So they stood there talking and that, and, talking about stuff, and...
The future.
Sort of, yeah, medieval stuff.
One of them's like, oh, I wish you'd shut up, you know, I've been stood here for hours, and he's going on and on.
Yeah, sure.
So he'd say, shut your face. Meaning, shut the guard down on your helmet.
The visor.
And I can't hear you then.
Uh-huh.
So shut your face.
Shut your face.
And that's how it came about.
Well, I suppose that's...
It would be interesting if I could just rely on it as
I'm not sure it's true,
I know, I just never know,
It needs to be corroborated.
It's like, I don't know where he got it from, but anything via Carl is precarious.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe you should give us your sources next time. You know, tell us where you got this information from.
Got it off the internet.
Yeah, but where on the internet?
I can't remember where that one was. I mean, I always go through, like, the news pages and stuff, and
this news should be updated, because they've only reached the 17th century, which is last week with people eating, tomatoes off lead plates.
Then I look at news, and there was stuff about a woman who was in a shop, and she, I don't know, they had some workmen in doing the shop up, and they had some wood glue left out, and she asked for some pear juice, and then the guy went and thought the glue in the thing was the pear juice, and she went and drank that. But that's not really news.
No.
So I thought, well, we're not
really
having
anything.
that.
I wish you hadn't told us.
There was one about...
So there's some poor woman now whose tiles have fallen off because she tried to put them up with pear juice.
Yeah.
See, that's the danger of mixing up pear juice with toxic glue.
Yeah.
Your wallpaper and your tiles and everything just fall down.
There was also...
Be careful, everyone.
Be careful.
There's something about, kids having hamburgers, it makes them fat.
Hamburger.
Hold on. What? Having food with high fat content can make you put on weight?
Yeah.
Don't believe it. You're an idiot. What's the next one?
No, let's play a tune, let's play a tune.
You've still got to come, you've still got I Want to Come Here in Hindsight, and you've still got Is the Tip Included, but we've got a bit of,
Well, I think we haven't played anything for a while, have we, in terms of the hip-hop hooray feature that I used to be so popular for. So I thought we'd just resurrect that for 1 week only.
Heat didn't pick up on that one, did they?
They didn't, did they? Let me just remind you, hip-hop hooray was where I played a hip-hop track.
And then I said hooray, or...
Yeah, no, well, no, I think
no,
didn't even have that.
Brilliant.
That's a great thing, though. We could add that in, we could phase that in. Maybe at the end of the song you can
hooray.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay.
No, check it.
Featuring Puff Daddy and Little Kim, that's Notorious B.I.G.
Brilliant.
and Notorious.
Great, lovely. Carl just, said to me, here's something. You can't hold your breath to death.
Have you tried it, Carl?
the facts. It's another little lesson.
There's someone here who's in a really low ebb. They've been listening to the show, they were going to commit suicide. They just started holding their breath and thinking, oh, screw it.
Well, what did you learn in the week, right? I'm always doing all the educating. I asked you were talking about watching a programme about jellyfish.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that'll be interesting. I'll try and find some stuff out, but I couldn't find anything that I didn't already know about them.
It must be difficult for you to find anything you don't already know.
So what did you learn about jellyfish?
I agreed with you by the end of it, that they should be wiped off the face of the earth because they're balls of water in membrane, right, that go around stinging people to death. Let's lose them, Carl. Let's lose the jellyfish. Yeah?
That's what I think. Because I was stung by one. Did it, you know?
Oh, you got stung by one?
Yeah, I was on holiday and got stung by one.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
No,
don't understand them.
I'm not a fan of them.
So that's that.
Good. So, well, that's sorted out the jellyfish conundrum. We've solved that particular worry.
Right then, so, take your pick then.
I asked him if he could have any animal the other day. Did I ask him on air as well?
Don't know.
Off air, he said, I've got it down to 2. Right, and this was, he said, what favourite animal looking at, or could I own one? And I went, you could own one. And he went, right, but could I own one, or would I have trouble? I went, Carl, you've got all the expertise, you can just have it in whatever it needs, and you go down there, he went, right, and I won't regret it and get fed up. I said, no, Carl, just what animal, if you could have any animal, what animal would you love? He went, I've got it down to 2. I went, what is it? He said, either the rhino or the hippo.
What's your logic?
Well, I don't know, that was then. I mean, ask me tomorrow, and I might have 2 other favourites. Do you know what I mean? When was that?
A couple of weeks ago. When was that? Well, you were there.
Yeah, but, you know.
What are they today? Quickly now. First animal that comes into your
Quickly
head.
now, any animal I want.
You can have any animal in the world.
Right.
From one that's maybe extinct, anything you want.
Right, I might have, just for today.
Just for today.
I might have a scorpion in a little box.
A little scorpion in a box. What's your thinking?
It's the chimp every time. It's the chimpanzee or the gorilla.
No. But, have I told you that programme about the scorpion? How they all help each other out?
Right.
Have
Scorpions all help each other out?
No, this is brilliant, right? Somewhere in the desert,
Okay.
there's these little
In the desert.
It's like these little monkeys that are underground or something. And there's holes.
Is this Beneath the Planet of the Apes? The 4th in the series,
Are they
I think, or the
talking
second.
apes?
Oh, forget it, actually.
No, and you've got it wrong anyway. They're not monkeys.
There's little monkeys under the ground. What are they doing down there?
They're
Toiling in
lizards.
some underground mines?
They're lizards, if you remember, and the lizard goes to sleep, and the bloke comes along, you've told this, and the
Oh, we've done it, alright.
monkey from monkey lizard. That's what happens in his mind. From lizard to monkey. Oh, evolution would have been so much easier if Carl was around.
Right.
Turn it into a monkey, I'm fed up with the lizard.
Just promise me once again, Carl, I've asked you before, promise me you'll never have children.
Go on, right, okay.
Right, what are you having?
What are they again?
Is the tip included?
Yeah, go on, that one.
Right. In Turkey,
Nice.
it's not, actually. That's where I went, and there was them little fellas after Suzanne in the kitchen.
What? What do you mean?
We stayed we went to Turkey.
You went to
And,
Turkey and there were some little fellas.
Well, they had quite a few sort of midgets working in the kitchen.
Why? Is it a theme?
No,
Was it a
it's
theme
just-
holiday?
I don't know. Might get them cheaper or something.
Was it,
So they were
get them
working.
cheaper.
They were working in the kitchen, and one of them fancied Suzanne and kept sort of eyeing her up, and she was winding me up, saying, "Oh,
Not eyeing up and down, just eyeing her up.
I fancy her." Anyway, no. So
What
anyway,
was she doing in the kitchen?
no, it's like a pick what you want to eat type buffet, but you have people clearing the tables and that ready for you to come along,
Are they low tables?
and you know, he was just keeping an eye on her.
What did he say though? Was
How
he?
did he
What
make
was
this
it? Was he?
clear?
It was Turkish, so I don't know what he was saying.
But he was. Was it? He was.
Little fella, yeah,
Did he talk
What do you
to
mean a little fella? What do you mean little fella?
sort of dwarf-like.
What do you mean dwarf? Like he had magic powers, or he was 4 foot?
No,
What do you
just
mean, Carl?
A little bloke, just like a normal bloke, but small. If you stood him in the desert, you wouldn't know.
But he'd be hot
nothing
and
around
thirsty.
him.
Right, Carl.
You should watch out for the monkeys.
Yeah, underground.
Those underground monkeys are
look,
dangerous.
you can't just say there was a little midget fella who was eyeing up my girlfriend and then leave it. What do you mean? What was happening? This is a story to us. This is much more interesting to us than, and she was deaf, right, and she hit her head. That's much more
I don't
interesting.
understand how how it manifested itself. Did he come over and say something?
No, do you know when it's like girls know, don't they? When someone fancies them.
What do you mean there was lots of them as well?
Do they? That's worth knowing.
Listen, right, come on, right, so you went into this holiday, yeah?
Yeah,
And
wasn't
you
that
went
good?
into the dining room or something?
Yeah, downstairs.
And
in
you
the
looked
dining
over-
You thought, this is odd, there's no one serving.
Yeah, and they go,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
hold on, you looked down and there was a little waiter.
room. There was loads of them running around busy.
Why, though? Why did
Because
they
it
get
was
loads-
summer.
What do you mean?
Because it was
There's
in
loads of them.
summer.
They had more of them
They
on.
come out in summer. They come out in summer.
What do you mean they had more, what do you
Because
mean?
it's busy, isn't it?
Well, no, but they
So-
hibernate in the
Why
winter.
were they all midgets?
I don't know, maybe it doesn't heat stunt your growth or something.
No!
Well, they just happened to, maybe it was a thing that they did for tourists or something, I don't know. I just got on with my meal, it was a holiday, do you know what I mean?
God!
Right,
So some midget serving, I'm not going to ask any questions.
Right, okay, yeah.
So they're all little fellas running around, and this one always was like, you know, oh, do you want a new serviette? You know what I mean? Going out of his way to sort of...
for turning on
Oh,
the
yeah,
charm.
Yeah, he was going
Oh.
out of his way, the others weren't.
Right. I think what was happening is he'd been working with Santa all till winter.
Yeah.
This is
Or
a little summer break.
This one
He
was
hadn't
your
seen a girl.
waiter, and so he was being polite to you.
Maybe.
But what did Suzanne say then? When
Well, she was using it to wind me up.
what was she saying? Oh, he's...
Oh, just like, you know, look,
He may be small, but he's
well,
built like a...
Yeah, he's all man.
so,
Were you jealous of a midget then? You were jealous of him?
it is a bit annoying, isn't it?
Why?
It wouldn't bother me as much now, because I've been with her for ages.
Right.
But at the time, that might have been one of our first holidays, and it's like,
You don't
know,
want to be
what's going on? I've paid for this holiday.
Yeah.
And then you get off with a midget?
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway,
But it doesn't matter because you got chatted up by a bearded lady. So
tell you what, no, that's got nothing to do with that.
What were you going to say? What were you going to say?
I was going to say the hotel was half board, and maybe.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say it's just one of her shortcomings.
So listen, right?
play a record, Carl.
Right. Badly drawn boy, born again. Right, just get this educating Ricky out of the way. So, Turkey, yeah. So what is this again?
This is educating Ricky as a tip included.
Right.
Apparently a fella was on holiday in Turkey. He's just having a normal holiday, weather's good, you know, he's having a good time. And
Waiters are all normal height.
Yeah. He's having his meal. He hears a load of screaming going on in the kitchen.
Hold on.
Has his girlfriend wandered in there?
And they do,
With a stepladder.
Yeah.
they circumcise people in the kitchen, and apparently...
What are you talking about?
Whoa, slow down. We were
Sorry,
sidetracked there for a minute.
what are you talking about? Well, I'm excited about two things at once here. One, they circumcised people in the kitchen. Two, I guessed it was someone losing the end of their knob.
He did, yeah.
I started thinking like Karl Pilkington.
Extraordinary.
That is amazing.
Apparently it was going on, it wasn't just a one-off either. Well, when I say a one-off, I mean, they did it more than once.
Yeah.
Right? And there was, he was there for a week, and apparently the first night it was quiet, and then the rest of the week, every day, it'd be like having his breakfast, or even his lunch, or even his tea.
Yeah.
He'd be doing it all day.
Oh.
You'd be hearing
Lunch
screams.
and breakfast, fair enough, Rick.
Yeah,
Circumcision
but
at tea time.
Don't do that.
And apparently it's a tradition over there. You can't even make a complaint about it. It's like, well, you should have, you know, found out before you come over
See,
here.
I can't believe this is
So
true.
I'm a little
I
bit
can't
lost.
believe this is
He
true.
was in a restaurant, in a hotel, and there were people having circumcisions in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm even worried that we're bordering on the racist here, suggesting that is tradition, that Turkish people cut the end of their cocks off in the kitchen
Yeah.
at meal times. I think you're wrong, Carl.
This just sounds ludicrous, Carl.
No, I don't think it happens everywhere.
Right.
I think this
Just in
Oh, this in this hotel.
certain places,
certain hotels.
certain hotels.
What, is it like 2-star?
Yeah.
I don't.
Why did he go to the Foreskin Inn? It was his own fault, wasn't it?
So that's
Sorry, that's it, is it?
Have they closed?
Sorry, no, wait. That's the story. You educated me, right? Once a fella saw some Turkish people cutting the tip of their knob off in the kitchen. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Carl. Got any more?
Well, there's things you can learn from it. Either don't go to Turkey.
No!
Don't have calamari when you're over there.
Yeah. Carl, you've done it again.
Well.
You too. I love that one. On XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl. Okay, Carl, one more.
Can't we just...
Don't get the just because so far you've come up with nothing. What's the last one?
Give us the teaser clue again.
It was, I want to come here in hindsight.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight.
Yeah.
Right, give me some education. This will be the thing that teaches me something. I can feel it in my bones. Come on.
There's a kid in Kenya. He was messing about with some beans.
Magic.
We guessed that as well. You did, yeah. He's fed up because we've guessed his puns, I think.
They put one of them in his ear.
Yeah.
The mum or the dad said, oh, what have you done that for, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll have to take you to the doctors now. So they took the kid to the doctors, and the doctor said, oh, he said, I can get that out, I can sort that out for you. So, he took it out, and the doctor said, right, that's £3.50. And the dad said, I've only got £2.70 on me. And the doctor said, right, well, and he put the bean back in his kid's ear.
I don't know what to say, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean...
A couple of questions from me, very quickly. Are you sure that those were definitely the sums involved, were they?
Well, the equivalent of whatever the deal with in Kenya.
Yeah.
It was the equivalent of, you know...
£3.50.
Oh, so what currency was it, Carl, that you translated into sterling?
I don't know. No, it was saying in the thing. It said the equivalent of
£3.50 £2.10.
Is that? Did it say that?
Yeah. So
did it say that?
Yeah.
Did Carl look at me? Look at me. Did it say that?
Yeah. It said that was the.
Did it say that?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. it definitely said that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, all these things. The idea is, it's not like a lesson. It's like, I'll tell you this, see what you can get from it.
Sure.
So you look at what I've told you already. The knights who said shut your face. That's like
that's amazing.
That explains itself.
Yeah.
Turkey with the circumcisions in a restaurant.
Yeah. That'll hold me in good stead. Yeah.
Don't go there. Whatever. This one, if you're in Kenya, don't put beans in your ears or something. Doctors
or carry £3.50 or the equivalent of.
It's just the idea that the doctor put it back in his ear. He forced it back in his ear. So is it still there to this day? I mean, is there any update on that story?
Or did he go back with the £3.50?
I presume he either went and got like a second opinion, see if he could get it cheaper.
Right.
From another doctor.
Yeah.
Or he said, right, I'll come back next week.
Yeah.
After I've been paid. Or he saw how the doctor did it and thought, well, I'll have a go at that.
Sure.
I'll get home.
Yeah, for free.
But he never said how it ended.
No.
But, I mean, I apologise for this week, 'cause I mean, I haven't got that much out of it.
You've not been enriched.
Oh.
It was very, very light. Like I say, there was the tug-of-war, there was a fella in Scotland who had a load of tattoos.
Okay.
Is that it?
Is that the end of the story?
98% covered.
Right.
Just between his toes he didn't have done.
Why not?
Because it looks stupid. I don't know. It just said 98% done. What else?
Are you gonna drop the feature? Are you worried?
I'm thinking about it.
Don't drop the feature.
To be honest with you.
Heat have probably written about this already. This has been a classic.
I'm concerned because it's my favourite part of the show. I'm wondering, is there something else we could... what could we do to help you out? Because I hate to see it go.
Well, we can't really, and he's moving this week with the old fella, so that'll take him about 4 days. I'm worried that I'm worried you're not looking in the right... Why don't you go to a library?
Quick question for you, Carl. Who is a possible guest on next week's Pilkington?
What are you gonna investigate?
I mean, what about your removals man?
Right, listen, if you've had a experience, it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be you've seen a ghost, it can be that you think you're gonna live forever, or you can, do any mentalist out there. If you're slightly, wrong, if there's something wrong with you, just, email Carl. Is it carl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk? Yeah. carl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk.
Would you like to be interviewed on next week's edition of Pilkington?
If you are a mental of any description, just lonely, bewildered, stupid, just something wrong with you, right, and you've seen something that's, interesting to you but absolute bollocks, then please call Carl.
Yeah. Carl.Pilkington.
Don't let that put you off, by the way. Don't think, oh, they're gonna take the piss out of me. Just if, in any way, if it's, fodder for us, then call up, because Carl will like you. You'll be friends with Carl, won't you? Quick, the clues, what's the answers? We always do this, we're running out of time.
Don't worry, we've got a tune, and then we'll come back with the answers from Rockbusters. A lot of great prizes.
Alright, we'll have a bit of, cash.
Cash, one of the prizes we're giving away.
Oasis, Live Forever on XFM 104.9. Right, we're in the swing of things. It's mine and Steve's favourite bit of the whole show. This is what we do this show for now. Educating Ricky.
Yeah.
Go for it, Carl.
You said that learning can't be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, I'll go for the one, what's the one about the butcher, going down the butcher shop?
You've got, get your kit on, we're off down the butcher's.
Yeah.
You going for that one?
Yeah.
Well, do you know the saying, don't let the cat out of the bag?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, well, don't give away a secret.
Right. Well, do you know how it came about?
No.
Well, ages ago. Before, like,
ages ago. 17th century?
Yeah, before, like...
Yeah, 17's good. Yeah.
Before, like, proper butchers and Dewhursts and supermarkets and that, you used to get these blokes who sold meat. Right.
Butchers they were called then, I think.
Yeah, but the difference was they didn't stay in the same place, they moved about. Right, so they'd turn up on a street corner, and he'd have, like, loads of carrier bags of, like...
Carrier bags?
Yeah, with meat in and that, and people would
Plastic
be like,
carrier bags?
Yeah, with mobile butcher on them.
Yeah.
Right, so,
and an email address.
Yeah, go on.
People went, right, yeah, I need some meat, right, so they'd go up to this bloke, and say, what have you got? And he'd say, well, I've got a, you can have a bag full of pig, or you can have, whatever, a bag full of chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
And they'd go, yeah, how much? They go, call it a fiver, whatever.
Yeah.
And, they'd buy them, and to make more money, they didn't always fill the bag with what they said was in it.
Oh, and yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Right?
Yeah.
So what
Did
they
they
used
ever
to
put
do...
cats in there?
Yeah.
But I don't see what...
Okay, so sometimes they would put a cat in the bag
They'd put a
and
cat
pretend
in
it
the
was
bag.
chicken or whatever else.
Yeah, so
But why was a cat any cheaper than a chicken?
because cats are wandering around the streets, aren't they? Chickens aren't. So they'd get a chicken, they put a chicken on the top so that when they look in it, they'd go, yeah, that's alright. Got a bag full of chicken. They'd get home to make the dinner, and they'd be like, what are we having tonight? And they'd go, well, you'll never guess. And they'd have, like, well, you can have a chicken leg, and,
But it would be a cat.
Yeah.
They'd have to defrost a pizza.
Yeah.
Did they mind that they were eating cat then? In those days?
He didn't say. He just was saying about the saying, don't let the cat out of the bag. It's like, if they see that, they're gonna go mad.
I'm mildly disappointed with this story. It's alright if it's true, but there's something about it's just... I want to know more. He always leaves it... Is it Carl doesn't quench your thirst for knowledge, he creates more. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, yeah, he's like the pot noodle of information.
Yeah, do you know, he never... I want to go...
I'm not nourished by it.
It's if for every fact he tells me, there's 10 others that spring up that I have to get clear.
Well, so it was the people that were doing this, it was the dodgy butchers that coined this phrase. Were they saying to each other, don't let the cat out the bag? I.e., what I mean by that, Jack, is, don't let them see the cat.
Yeah.
What we've stuffed in there.
Yeah.
Dodgy butcher, there's another phrase, isn't it?
So that's the first one.
Is that a euphemism, or is that dodgy butcher?
As his meat delivered round the back.
Sure.
So, that's that one. So let's get your kit on.
What does that mean?
It's a euphemism for homosexuality.
Okay. And meat, presumably, in that means different things.
It doesn't. It's a word that is also a male
Would it
bird.
mean chicken or cat, necessarily, in that context? Or, well, I suppose it could.
Yeah. Carl's look at him. Carl looks at you like a cat.
Yeah.
Whenever we leave him behind, if we don't talk like straight at him and let him see our lips moving, and it's, you know, monosyllabic and very sort of look, he's lost in that conversation there. He just drifted off, didn't you, Carl?
No, I just was also thinking on animals and that. Something else I was going to use.
Go on.
Was
This isn't a radio show, is it? I just suddenly caught myself. This is nothing.
I told you that before. It's been bad today.
No, but I mean, it's the way, this casual way that it's like we almost have no regard for our listener. And I'm not proud of that. I just don't know what to do about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to do this properly. I mean, we're just chatting here. I mean, it's only Anderson who's seen through us. And that surprises me, that more people haven't. I mean, what are the figures like? Do people listen to this show?
I'll find out for you.
You keep saying that.
But, yeah, there's this parrot. And, apparently it lives
I mean, Rick, it's unique, if nothing else. I mean, when you wake up with Woken tomorrow, you're not even gonna hear him start a line with there was this parrot.
Go on, there was this parrot, yeah, go on.
and it can talk and that. Someone's obviously, you know, taught it how to speak and that. And, it flew away. And it's living in this church. Right? And, people are at the church doing hymns and that. And then
Trouble's brewing.
in between the
If that
hymns.
parrot was owned by an old miner who used to swear a lot,
Yeah.
Well,
then the vicar is
what was
going to be really annoyed. That vicar, that vicar's gonna go on.
I just hope it stays quiet, Rick, during the vicar's sermons.
Yeah, go on.
have you read it?
No, go on. You read it.
No,
go on,
no,
go on.
because that's what happens,
Go
right?
on, tell us, Carl.
During the hymns, it's sort of effing and jeffing and stuff.
Jeffin.
Yeah.
And everyone's like going, oh, you know, it's quite funny, really, you know, it doesn't know what it's doing. Everyone's having a laugh.
Yeah.
But it's causing a havoc at funerals.
When did this happen?
Not years ago.
John was a much-loved man. He was a wanker.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that was another story.
What can
that
you say about Uncle John?
Bollocks.
Oh, Carl, I love the fact that when you look at things, you go, that's interesting. A parrot that swears at funerals.
That would be a nightmare.
And it stays with you. You see, for a simple man, you retain an awful lot of knowledge. It's just all rubbish.
all
Do you know what I mean? If you just replaced all this rubbish with good stuff, you'd be an intellectual.
Yeah.
Really. Because, I mean, your retention is fantastic.
Yeah. So,
Did I lose you again there, did I?
So
Was it the word retention?
we've still got, Wash Up With You.
yeah. Should we play a record and do Wash Up With You?
Yeah, we'll play a bit of Aqualung then.
Alright.
From the album Original Pirate Material, it's obviously The Streets, and an album track from that, It's Too Late. Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know everyone's raving about it being, you know, one of the albums of the year, but it is, I think.
It's great. That's brilliant. I love the backing as well. It's just so good. The lyrics, the things you go, they're my favourite band of the year. Next week then, we'll do all our favourite songs of the year, shall we?
No, I think it's got to be 2 weeks' time, hasn't
Oh,
it?
2 weeks, is it?
Yeah,
do
I'm
the
away
Christmas.
next week as well.
What do you mean you're away next week? What are you doing? Zoe Ball show?
I'm going up north again.
Why?
So Claire's gonna be here with you.
Okay. Yeah, at least
What are you doing up north?
she does her job.
Just, Suzanne's dad's birthday, so...
I bet he's a party animal. I've read that they really kick off, don't they? Is it? Yeah. When?
So,
You gonna be raving?
can't concentrate now.
Oh, well, he's all stressed because the lady from MTV's here. She's gonna film his little face.
So
the
what-
the things he said in the week, he was so worried. He's worried about the spot on his head. That won't come out. Just you got your best side.
It's on that side, that's alright.
Yeah, the camera's out. Look, he's getting nervous now. Okay, Carl. Ignore the camera. Okay, just ignore the camera. Okay. Now, me and Steve have done our research for you, and we've got 2 amazing things to tell you. What should I tell them first? About the baby or the...
Well, they're
crab?
both equally fascinating, so you choose.
I'll tell you the crab thing first, right? Steve actually saw this thing in The Guardian the week, about our research thing, and then we looked it up, we looked into it on Friday, and it is incredible. Right, listen to this. There's a thing in a bay in, New England, right, where it's like the biggest, they make silicon chips and stuff for computers, right? And because of the data protection thing, after they've done them, because they have to destroy the plates, right, where the information's sort of put onto them, but there's still flakes of silicon. They sort of grind it down straight away, and some of the flakes got into the bay, okay? But some of the information is still on even the slight granules of silicon. Anyway, gets in the water, and silicon is rather like, a carbon derivative. They reckon if there had been life on another planet that wasn't carbon-based, it'd be silicon-based. Because that's simple sugars and it's just COH and that, and it can work with silicon, right? Anyway, the crabs have been taken up, it's in the water, and they looked out on the beach, and, over years, the crabs have started, sort of putting themselves in formations. Like, geometric format, and they couldn't work out why they were doing this. And, when they put them in the experiment, they sort of like chopped them up, and they found they'd taken on silicon. And it had sort of got into their brain, and they were downloading information. They picked up little things, because it's just chemical, you know, like, electrical impulses that got information off the silicon chip, and they were interfacing it. But, this is the amazing thing, one bloke sort of thought of this, and he thought, well, if it's a simple computer with a brain, if it's just a simple sort of electrical thing, then maybe there's sort of, you know, we could get it down. So what they did is they made a thing called a biointerface, and they put it into the crab's brain, just a really simple brain, so it's measured avant-garde, right? And it got impulses from it, and they were getting, like, computer readouts, just flashes of, like, symbols and geometric things, right, on this screen to read the crab's brain, and it was stuff like, you know, fragments of a,
what made them do this in the first place?
Because they saw the crabs behaving differently. They were behaving differently to each other. They were just like, they were, you know, intelligent. And they were sort of solving problems and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, when they downloaded the thing, it was like there was, they found one of the secretary's names where it had been on the silicon chip, where it was just like a flash of a computer screen. But the most amazing thing is, they downloaded a memory, right? It was like a snapshot where it had been burnt onto the retina of the crab, just a snapshot or something, and it was like a picture of the beach, like a couple of years ago, right? And they also did, incredible, it was like just a digital, black and white sort of thing, so they could see what the crab had seen.
Amazing.
Jeez.
Amazing.
So
intelligent crabs.
What are they doing with them now, then?
Super brain.
Well, they think, this is the upshot, they think they could use it as spy crabs, because they could get these crabs. Also, the other thing is, as generations went on, right, so they'd put a crab in the sea or something, right, lots of crabs in, and then as generations went on, a newborn crab, they downloaded the memory, and it had the memories of its great all together. It had every memory that any crab had been related to it beforehand. Because it passed it on, it just passed it on.
So not even ones that had been eating the silicon stuff?
Yeah. No,
these are just like ones that have had kids?
Yeah.
And they've got, like...
And they know so you'd know everything everything right the way back.
So would that work if we ate silicon?
Well, I suppose
possibly.
so.
So what are they gonna...
Well, they can use them for all sorts of things, though. I mean, that's what's incredible. I mean, I don't know how you train it particularly. I don't know, it'd be quite tricky to train, but I'm assuming if they can do it that way, then presumably they can give it like certain silicon information, which they can then plant in it, if you like, within its sort of food.
Also, if you get them onto enemy beaches, you'd have like 1,000 digital cameras just
sneaking around. If you get like, you know, Osama bin Laden or someone just crawling around.
They don't understand the information they've got.
No, they don't know they're doing it. They just download a message.
So it's not like you could torture them and they wouldn't be able to sort of give you the information, because they wouldn't know what information they had, because they're just.
But the first crab they downloaded, they just kept seeing the same picture of a big crab feeding it, which they.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's what, like its mother crab or something?
Yeah. Just memories of it as a child.
But they're not in colour, presumably, because
no, it's all in black and white. It's just a digital camera, because it's just they don't see it in black and white, so it's just like a, I don't know, I think it's burnt onto the retina or something. And, the only one that they kept were the ones they saw a lot of the time.
Wow.
I mean, in a way, some of the educating Ricky I've got for you today is on the similar lines.
Right.
Oh, you've got to be impressed by that. You've got to be impressed by that.
That's pretty good. I mean, I'm interested to see, you know, what they do.
What they do with what the crab developments are.
But yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You said you wanted to learn some science this week.
Did I?
Yeah. so the title this week for that is Acid, I Would Sort You Some Science Out. Acid, because that's...
How long did that take you to call?
Listen, well, you know, people people love Carl. There's comedians come to me and go, Carl's the funniest man. They absolutely love him, right? But I think we're only seeing half of it, right? If we can get him on television, his face then, when he told me that title, was like a child at Christmas.
Yeah.
He was so proud of it. He was excited what I was gonna. It was brilliant.
It's a bit like when a child's drawn a picture in art class. You know you've got to stick it on the fridge,
You've
but
got
you
to,
basically
yeah.
think it's crap.
Yeah.
It's very much like that.
All right, Carl?
Is that good?
Yes.
So we'll be doing that. Acid. I would sort you out with some science.
Brilliant. I forgot the puns in mind, didn't I? I forgot the puns.
Yeah.
Go on.
Right, so, yeah, you asked to sort of be taught some science and that last week after being taught about war, so,
Yeah.
did some research. And, there's a few things, I think we'll just cover one of them now.
Go on.
We've talked a lot about hairy kids.
We have
I
discussed that a
love
lot.
the fact that Simon Sharma has never started a programme like that. The Jacobites. We've talked a lot about hairy kids. Go on.
It's a little bit, I mean, it's not your traditional science stuff, but it's still
More left
interesting
field.
and it's a little bit, you know, it's still
Yeah, we
sort
talked
of
about hairy
science.
kids. We have disproportionately, honestly. I think this show's talked about hairy kids more than any other radio show.
Well, it's one that...
Sorry, I noticed both of you there dropped the H, or the H, or however it's
I
pronounced.
had to, 'cause
So
it-
airy,
airy
obviously
kids, yeah.
hairy,
Yeah.
hairy children, not
Yeah.
sort of airy, kind of light-headed or...
Yeah.
Well, there was the case of the one who lived in China,
Yeah.
and
Which was weird for two reasons, wasn't it?
yeah,
Well, go on.
one was like he was covered in hair,
That's already weird.
and the doctor sort of checked him over and said, "Well, yeah, he is hairy, but he's quite healthy. Apart from he had a little bit of eczema and a boil." That was the main bit of the story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But this one, right? We have sort of talked about it, and you weren't having any of it at the time.
What?
This next bit of science I'm telling you about.
Go on then.
Right. Remember when I told you about a lad who was living at home with his mum and dad, right? Everything's, you know, normal life, go to school, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then, I think his mum and dad had an argument, and it kicked off a bit, and he thought, I'm sick of this. It's happening all the time now, they kept having arguments, so the kid ran off into the woods,
Oh,
Yeah.
right?
God.
Now, he left, he went and ran in the woods, and he ended up living with some monkeys.
Right.
Right? And he thought, this isn't a bad life, you know, there's no arguments going on.
Sure.
He was getting on with them. And the weird
He loved
thing
bananas.
is, this is where the science bit comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
He grew a load of hair on his body.
That's not true. It's not true.
It is true.
It's an acquired characteristic.
I bet someone will back me up on this.
But no, you can't. You can't grow hair like that. You might get a little bit more down here. They might the erectile tissue might, you know, they won't fall out as much. That would, you know, but you don't actually grow a big mane if
Well-
you're cold and you're a human.
Well, he did. He did. This lad did. I know it sounds a bit strange and that, but he was living with the monkeys, and because it was cold, his body reacted to it.
Listen. He was no hairier than he would have been if he was walking around naked on a cold day, with or without living with monkeys.
The fact that he was living with monkeys makes no difference.
No, I know, but I'm trying to get, you know, picture it in your head what it's like.
Although Mickey Dolenz was always pretty hairy.
Right? So he was living with them, and he went into town or something one day
Oh, yeah.
to get some food, and the people there were like, hang on a minute, that isn't a monkey.
Well, he went in naked.
No, he was there covered in hair.
Yeah, but naked, but covered in hair, so it was decent. It was.
Yeah. But that was a weird thing. They thought it was a monkey in the shop. And then they
So
went,
presumably he had a big long beard as well, because he couldn't shave, could he?
no, he's just covered. He looked like a monkey.
And they were happy to serve the monkey, were they? There's a monkey, he's
How
buying
did he
a
walk?
newspaper and
How
some
did he
milk.
walk? How did he walk, Carl? Did he walk upright or whistling along?
The,
Just
the picture that I saw on the internet, he was on all fours, but I
Course
don't
he
know if
was.
that's when he was
Course he
running
was.
away after he did sort of, you know, realised he was a kid. But this was a
So he
picture.
was a kid as well. He wasn't even like an adult with the beard.
No, he was a kid.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And
the
people
beard
went,
kicked in a little bit.
So
earlier.
listen, so the
Go on.
people caught him.
You're an idiot.
The people caught him.
Yeah.
Shaved him. Right. Got it all off. Didn't grow back again.
Right.
It
You're an
grew.
idiot.
Well, like I say, people will have heard this story or read about it.
You're
and
an
they'll-
idiot.
And they'll email in. They don't let me down.
And they'll agree that you're an
And
idiot.
no, they'll have seen the story.
You're an idiot.
So that's a little bit of science.
Right. Okay. So have you got anything that is science as opposed to nonsense?
Well,
kid went off with some monkeys, grew hair, came back, shaved him, it didn't grow back. I mean, just think. Right, something else.
There's a few things I found.
Yeah.
There was a fella
Oh, God.
who had hiccups for 69 years. That was a bit annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There's the dog with the wig that we've discussed.
Imagine if you just tuned in.
Yeah.
There's the dog with the wig that we've already discussed.
Did we discuss that?
Not really.
Did I not tell you what he said? I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What else have I got? Well, there's something here that you sort of know.
Is this going out live?
Yeah, this is happening, right?
Right, go on.
But remember when you talked about sponges?
Yeah.
If you get a red sponge and a blue sponge.
You liquidise them, pour them back into a tank. After a few hours, they know which was which, and they reform as a red sponge and a blue sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird when you told me.
Yeah.
Looked it up, did a bit of research.
Yeah.
Thought that's sort of sciencey.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing with a mouse's brain.
Okay. Explain a bit more.
No, you can't.
If you get a dead mouse, put its brain into a blender, blend it up, leave it standing for a bit.
Making that up, aren't you? You're confusing this. You watch Nigella Lawson make some sort of pudding.
No.
What do you mean? It won't work with the brain.
Well, it does with I mean, not a human brain. Don't be trying that.
Although
but, no, a mouse one. A mouse one.
And what happens?
It sort of reforms. Goes back together again. No, it's because apparently it's made up of the same stuff as.
But it doesn't, does it? Because if it's dead, if it's a dead brain, the cells can't act anyway. The fact the sponge is that it doesn't kill the cells, it liquidises them, it doesn't kill the cells.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be a dead brain anyway. It would have to be a live brain taken out from a live mouse for the cells to be getting oxygen and working and being sensitive to each other, and that I don't see how that could work like it does in sponges.
I mean, do you know what I mean?
You're not a scientist.
I've just sort of read it and gone, oh, that's interesting. I'll tell Ricky and Steve about it.
Yeah.
You're quizzing me as if I've come up with it.
No.
Someone else has done it and said
Yeah.
it works.
Sure.
So I'm not.
Do you think ghosts are behind it, or do you think there's a scientific explanation for it?
No, it's just one of them weird things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what you sort of science covered for this week.
Well, that was another barnstorming feature from Karl Pilkington.
Is that it? Is that the two things you got
Thanks
this
very
week?
much for that.
Well, that I mean is. They're
There's nothing behind them. Do you know what I mean by this? There's not like a weight of intellect behind these facts.
Why don't you make that your science project for this week? Find a dead mouse somewhere, Carl, and a blender, and bring that in next week. We'll do it live on air. See what happens.
Oh.
Well,
Do you feel sort of let down a little bit sometimes with our reactions?
What are you expecting us to do? What are you expecting us to just like look at you, open-mouthed, staring at you in awe?
just like go, oh God, yeah, where did you find that out? And like,
Yeah, but
you know,
We
we're
know,
asking,
we
you
know.
never tell us.
We know where you found it out. You looked on the internet and a strange homemade website by a maniac somewhere, who puts on stupid things that he heard through Chinese whispers. That's where you get your information from. I doubt that anything you've ever come up with is verified. If it is, it's luck.
but what do you expect me to do for you? Do you know what I mean? I'm just.
You know, I'd like to know what the source of the information is. I'd like it to be, you know, a research study by the University of Columbia, rather than, you know, a guy who calls himself Mr. Pickles. On a website somewhere, www.lunatics.com.
I mean, oh God.
Some kind of evidence, do you know what I mean?
I must warn you now, you know that Steven Spielberg thing's coming, Taken? Yeah? About alien abduction. When you watch it, just remember this, it's not a documentary. Okay?
Alright, and Rick John has emailed in.
Yeah.
It looks here like he's maybe trawled the web himself. I mean, I don't know if people just immediately leap onto the web every time Carl says something in his defence.
I think our listeners are always on the web.
Yeah. Anyway, he seems like he's reprinted here a news story, which seems to confirm Carl's Monkey Boy story.
Yeah, what was the news
Doctors
story?
baffled by boy 6 covered in ape-like hair. Doctors in Kazakhstan are baffled after finding a 6-year-old boy covered in ape-like hair.
Yeah.
The boy, called Ablay, was found in a remote mountain village close to the Chinese border. He's covered in thick hair from head to toe and has an oval-shaped skull. Doctors suspect nuclear radiation or a genetic disorder may be responsible.
Fine.
But it's an interesting bit
But,
here.
but sorry, it's not that you could have genetic defects. I've seen lots of people born with long noses, 5 feet, etc. I'm saying
You've
that
been
he
to
wasn't
Bristol,
normal. he wasn't normal, and then went to live with monkeys and grew the hair.
Well,
that's my
true.
point.
But it says his mother and father are distant relatives. Such marriages are common in the Kazakhstan mountain hamlets. Now, the village elders were consulted as to what to do with him, right? Now, these are the village elders, these are the wise men of the village, these are the people presumably that all year long are telling the village how to live, how to survive,
Yeah, you're
what
in
to
charge
do.
because you've lived longest.
Yeah, exactly. You presumably are solving any kind of moral conundrums,
Yeah.
any sort of awkward things. Do you know what they suggested that they do with their hairy son?
Go on.
Send him to the circus.
The Carl's nodding.
Put him in the circus. That was what they suggested, and the mother actually wanted him to go to school.
Instead of I
instead
don't
of
know,
a
school or circus, I don't know. We don't know what's better for him.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
We must consult the elders.
What do you think, Carl?
It's not a bad life, is it?
What, the circus?
Yeah.
Well, you ran
Kids
away
will
from
love
it.
Kids
Yeah.
will love it. But remember that thing that I saw about that fella who, I don't know if I should talk about it really, it's a bit...
Go on. Tell us now. You've hooked me. Come on. You can say it. It's okay. What, are you worried that it might be insulting to someone?
Well, it's not nice, but...
Well, you're not
made
taking the
the
mickey
most
out of it. You're telling us to go on.
It's just, it was in that book again that you got me. You know, the book full of weird people.
Go on.
And things that are wrong with them, and hairy people, and
Yeah.
lad with 3 legs and that. There's a fella, basically just a head and a little body on a skateboard.
Yeah.
Right? Picture of him having a shave. And he was shaving with his mouth bit like that.
With his tongue.
Like that on the radio.
Yeah.
Just
He
like-
was shaving
Carl
with
is
his
now doing an impression of a man shaving with his mouth.
Yeah, well, it's just a head, bear in mind. He's doing an impression. Imagine a head with a very tiny body on a skateboard shaving with its tongue. That's what Carl was doing.
And he was depressed because he kept getting hats for Christmas.
But if you were him, you would just grow a beard, wouldn't you, rather than...
Oh,
Well,
God.
rather than go through all
But you
that
get
hassle.
it caught in the wheels of his skateboard.
Do you know the other week when I came up with like a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was he was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is people live till 78. I don't know how you can enforce that, right?
Yeah.
But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach,
Right.
like a pip in an apple, that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory. It wasn't an idea. It was the ramblings of a mental
You're
case.
saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." Good
Yeah,
place."
and okay, I'm asking you again. Was the letter written in shit?
But anyway, listen, right? I've been
Did it say the mental home, Mars?
I've been thinking about it, right? And if we can't do that, right? If that's a no to that, right?
Well, it's not a question of whether we
Yeah,
can
but
do
I'm
it or not.
Just saying, if
Go on.
if that's a no, right? I've been thinking.
It is a
about,
no. This is
no,
gonna be
because there's a
brilliant.
lot of weird. I mean,
You could win the Nobel Prize
No,
for this.
But listen, there is a lot of ways, isn't there, in the world that some creatures and that go about sort of moving on, if you know what I mean.
Evolution, you mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, on that David Attenborough programme that he's doing at the moment, he's always showing you little insects and what they've got to do, and there was one about a wasp, right, that had to fly about, right, for ages, looking out for a certain type of spider, right.
It lays its egg in the
When
spider.
I saw it, it whizzes down,
Yeah.
right? It lands on its back, so that he's got to get that right? It lands on it. I don't think the spider's up for anything. That isn't even aware of this is how things move about. He's not going, I've got to look out for a wasp. So all this is like, it's got to be perfect timing.
Yeah.
So this wasp dived down, right? Sat on the back of this spider. It injects it or something with a maggot or something, right? And then that maggot then lives off the spider for a bit. The spider knows it's got a maggot in it.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
And it's making a web for it. It goes, I've got something to look after here now. I've got responsibilities. It makes a web, right? It sort of reverses into it and puts the maggot on the web. The maggot sort of clings onto the web. Spider's there. Maggot eats the spider, and then it moves on. If I came up with that idea for like a method, you'd say that's never going to happen.
No, wait, Carl! It's not the fact that you came up with the idea, right, for an old lady dying at 78 with a baby growing in her that then lives on. It's nonsense. It's no idea. It's how can it be enforced? It's like, so even if scientists thought that was the best idea in the world, how would they enforce
but
it?
what I'm
Who's
saying
going to go, that's a good idea, we've never thought of that.
Yes, but what I'm saying
Get in
is,
Elsie.
Who told the wasp to look out for that spider, to go on its back, to do, you know...
What do you
We've
mean, who
explained
told
this
the wasp?
before to
It's
you.
evolution, it's natural selection.
Yeah, but I can understand, you know, we've chatted about it before about giraffes having a long neck, but you're talking about a wasp and a spider who...
That's
as
because
far as
you're
I'm
attributing thought and will behind their behaviour. Behaviour in humans is linked with a free will.
Yeah, but most of what we do, say like how we have a kid at the moment, you don't just jump on the back of a woman and go, there you go, love, and then a baby pops out.
You do if you come from Bristol.
No, what I'm saying is, right, it's all, you build up to it, don't you? You have that bit of a chat and you go, right, how's it going? Yeah, and you get on and that, and then a little baby will come out.
This is the most...
Wait. Well, I want to go back to the dating procedure there. You have a chat, you go alright, and then a little baby comes out. That's extraordinary.
This is amazing.
No, I'm
Man
sorry.
alive.
This
I tell
is
you-
incredible.
I tell you,
This-
two-bit radio's gain was secondary school's loss. It really
what
was.
I'm saying is...
This is my first Pilgrim book. Unbelievable.
What I mean is, we all get on. What I'm saying is, at what point is a wasp ever going to have a chat with a spider or meet up with it?
I don't even understand where we are now in this conversation.
What point is a wasp going to ever have a chat with a spider? What world do you live in? What's in your head?
No, but...
I can't believe it. Carl, what point is a wasp ever going to have a chat with a spider?
So in some kind of weird insect nightclub, these wasps and these maggots are meeting, they're getting on. Is that how you're imagining
but
it?
that's what I'm saying to you. What
No,
are the
but-
odds on that actually happening?
But listen. You're thinking because behaviour in lower forms of life is purely chemical. It's purely, it bypasses any form of consciousness. Right? There's a parasite. That's like a flatworm, a platyhelminth, or it might be a nematode. It's some sort of invertebrate.
off.
Yeah. That it lays its egg. The beginning of its cycle is in a stickleback. Okay, and it literally has to change the stickleback's behaviour. Okay, because it has to get into a warm-blooded animal to complete its cycle. So what it does is, this parasite makes the stickleback not flee from the shadow of a heron. So it makes the stickleback get eaten, right? So it then is in the belly of a warm-blooded animal and it can complete its life cycle. But at no point is the nematode or the platyhelminth, whatever it is, going, slow down, there's a heron coming, stay here, stay here, stay here. And the stickleback going, why? I don't want to stay, there's a heron. There's no conversation. It's not they get together and go, listen, I've got something that might be mutually beneficial to both of us. I need to get into a heron. You like to be eaten by a heron? No, I don't. Where's this conversation
Yes,
with a wasp?
you do. It's got Jedi
Yes,
powers.
you do.
No, all I'm saying is, you know, the idea that I came up with, you're sort of saying that's a crazy
Can I just,
It's not
sorry,
an
before
idea,
you
it's
carry on,
not
can I
an
just say,
idea.
how many times have we heard all I'm saying is, and then
Yeah.
such a stream of nonsense
Yeah.
that it's blown our minds?
No, but that's all I'm saying. That, you know, what you've just explained there with the heron having to knock about and for a flea to be sat in the shade and that.
Now see that is incredible. That translation of what I said is that sums it up for me.
Yeah.
He sees the headline, he reads a book, it then goes through this weird filtering system with, I imagine the music in his head is boop, beep, boom, ba, discordant piano. Like
I think the noise in Carl's head is like a fax machine, if you've ever got that up full volume.
I think it's like a Czechoslovakian cartoon from 1963.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, noises like, woks being hit.
Yeah.
And, pianos
anyway.
just being hit by the elbow.
He's the only person, you can give him a body of information and he strips away the facts.
But the way he said that, I talked about, clearly talked about some sort of parasite in a stickleback that makes its behaviour change so it doesn't flee the heron's shadow. He said, so there's an heron with a flea who doesn't like the shade. How did it come out? I mean...
It doesn't matter, forget that, right? But
What's
anyway,
your theory? What's your theory?
What I'm saying is I've come up with something else that I want to run by you then.
Go on
right?
then.
So you've sort of boo-booed the idea
Boo-booed.
We've boo-booed it, we have boo-booed it.
of
He chose a completely different bear. It was originally Poo Poo the bear, but now it's Boo Boo the bear. Brilliant.
So you've said no to, you know, the old woman having a kid, right,
Yeah.
before she dies. What about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah.
Go on.
Somehow, I don't know how
A
yet.
kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child gives birth to an old man.
No.
Right.
What I'm saying is, right,
Go on.
work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this is notes.
So-
when he hands it into the Nobel people,
Yeah.
and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, and they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
Well, that's
Fine.
right.
Yes, we inject something.
So you inject it in.
What are you? Who are you injecting?
This old woman who's she's been ill and that she died.
So she's dead. So
Yeah,
we're
but
bringing old people back to life. Okay, fine. That's step one. We just got to sort that out first. But fine, we'll crack that. Go on next. So we brought people back from the dead. Fine.
Yeah, but
next.
this is a way of controlling population. Remember, they can't be having it away and having kids. This is just the way we're going to
Okay,
work
so
from now.
there's an old lady. So we start now. We start now as the world is now. So what happens?
Right. So you get like an old woman.
Who's dead?
Yeah.
Yep.
Injector and that.
Injector.
And then what happens is she sort of wakes up.
Amazing.
Right. And she works the other way. So like she might be 77.
Yep.
And then she'll have a birthday. She's 76. And she's working that way.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got.
No
I'm
idea.
really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said.
Yeah.
This is madder than the old lady with the pit like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
This is
No, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory. And
This
it's
is
like,
this is it. Let me just tell you the
on then.
ending, because the endings works out a bit better.
go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die at the age of
78.
9 months,
What?
at the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out.
What do you mean when you die at the age of
You're
9
not scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no fear.
So you missed out a bit here. So this woman, what, literally gets younger and younger?
I think
Yeah.
when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to 78 years. Then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, right, back you go.
No, but forget all that bit.
Oh, forget all that bit. How do we forget that bit?
What I'm saying
So
is...
she died and she doesn't remember all her... This is a new life, is it?
Let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
What I'm saying is, old people are scared of dying. When they're 77, they're going, oh, what's going to happen to me? Little injection in the head. When it's a baby, when it's like 1, and everybody around it's going, yeah, it's going to die soon and that. Baby hasn't got a clue, it's happy. It's playing about with its rattle or whatever.
So it loses
not scared.
So it loses all its memories.
That's it.
And then what happens? So when does it die? When it gets to naught? When it's 0 days old? It goes
Yeah,
through...
it just dies. People know, it's almost like a countdown. So the family's aware of it.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget it then, we'll leave it as it is.
No, leave it as it is, shall we?
Shall we? Can we all agree on that, guys? Now, should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that all right? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
No, it's. I mean, you're a fucking maniac.
If you're a maniac and you'd like to get in touch, then please email us at podcast@rickygervais.com.
We've had a heat wave here in the capital city, haven't we, Carl?
It's been hot, hasn't it?
It's been up to 100 degrees, record-breaking temperatures.
Yeah.
What have you been doing though?
Sort of enjoyed it a little bit. Was out and about,
Yeah.
getting to see the place, having loads of walks. And that I like to have walks. You know, watching what
Like a
people are doing.
dog.
Yeah. When he jumps off the couch and starts
Exactly.
scratching against the door.
Suzanne thinks it's time for another walk.
It's just good thinking time, though, isn't it? As well, having a walk. You've got no other clutter going on around you, and you just think about a lot of stuff. And you know, like say, with the weather being hot and stuff, a lot of insects knocking about.
Right.
So I've just been watching them.
so while we've been filming a TV show, you've been watching insects.
Yeah, just seeing, because everybody knows insects are out there, but no one's keeping an eye on them.
What are they up to? What are you worried about?
Steve, you wouldn't be laughing like that if you'd watch them, because they do some weird stuff and that. Is what I mean.
What sort of stuff? Any examples?
I saw a bee have a heart attack.
You saw a bee have a heart attack.
Yeah.
How were you sure it was a heart attack?
Because what happened? I'd been.
Did it clutch its chest with all 6 legs?
No,
Were there some other little bee paramedics?
No. I'd just been out in the park anyway, just looking at caterpillars knocking about, butterflies and stuff. So I was sort of aware.
So when Suzanne goes to work, she goes, Carl, don't you waste the day. Just because you don't work at the radio station anymore, I want you to do some constructive stuff. And you go, yeah, I am, yeah. And so in your head suddenly goes... and he goes out, oh, there's a moth.
But the thing is, so I'd been in the park and I was aware of the insects that are around us more than, like, most of the time. And I come out of the park, just crossing, like, a sort of a busy road and what have you, and I saw this bee to the right of me, sort of in the air, and it was a big one, and I was a bit like, oh, let's watch that. And it just fell. It fell from the air in front of me, and it was on the pavement, and I thought, oh, what's going on here? And I looked at it for a bit, and it was really still, gave it a little kick, just to see if there was any movement. Nothing. Stone cold dead.
Yeah, stone cold bee dead.
So
yeah,
that
I like
was,
the fact that this bee suddenly saw Carl and had a heart attack.
Yeah,
it'd never seen anything that round before.
Yeah.
It just thought it had approached him because he thought it was a sunflower.
My God, it's a giant walking orange. Every dream has come true.
no, but it just summed up life for me. I thought that's like us, isn't it? At the end of the day, they have heart attacks, stress.
You put it down to stress, do you?
Well, it's in London, isn't it? You know, everything has stresses from living here.
And they are bald, aren't they? They've got fur all over, but they lose the...
And always overweight.
It was a fat, bald bee.
So what did you... It fell to the floor and you instantly... You just kicked it. You didn't attempt to revive it.
No, I waited a second and just looked at it to see if there was any, leg movement or wing. And there was nothing. And then when I sort of kicked it, it was sort of hard. It had hardened already. It's just...
Rigor mortis
had set in.
Did it put you in a bad mood for the day? Because I know things like that can just send you over the edge for the day.
Death and that does a bit. Suzanne doesn't like me talking about death.
What riveting conversations do you come up with?
No, just things like one of our mates has had a baby recently, and I just was saying, oh, when that's sort of our age, we'll nearly be dead.
Think of that.
That's the first thing he says, there's a new life brought into the world.
I know.
But when he's our age, we'll be dead.
Yeah.
No, it's
Maybe
weird.
they'll let you do the speech at the christening.
Yeah, it's just, so like I say, just insect life and that, it's interesting.
You say it's interesting, but do you care about really finding out about them? Do you really care about what bees do or what ants do? You look at them and you make up your own world. For example, it had a heart attack, it's stress, it's overweight. You know nothing. I could probably... Won't you look something up? Honeybees are fascinating. Honeybees, they've been around making honey for 100 million years. That's incredible. Their wings beat over 11,000 times a minute.
And he's thinking, no wonder I had a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. But do you know bees, like ants, are actually like specialised wasps. They're sort of developed from the same
Family. Family, like.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise you, though. Does it interest you in any way?
Well, everything's linked to something, isn't it? It's like how they say we're from monkeys and that.
Yeah.
It's all the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been watching loads of stuff. I've been watching ants. You mentioned ants. I've had a lot of moths in the house. They're sort of sad.
I mean, you say it like it was a garden party.
No,
Yeah.
it's just all these things. You look at them. I mean, you go into the scientific bit saying, it likes honey or whatever.
It doesn't like honey. The reason they store honey is to get them through the winter when there's not, like, nectar, or nectar's hard to get, and they store it. And they store too much, which is why we can skim a little bit off the top. We're like agents.
Yeah, well, but all I'm saying is I look at more about what its life is like. As
Well, no, you
to...
don't. You don't. You guess. You make it up. You don't look into it at all.
No, but you can. A bit of guesswork is you're pretty close to the truth most of the time.
Why? What do you mean? That statement sums you up. A bit of guesswork is pretty close to the truth.
Because if you watch something long enough, is what I'm saying, you can see that it's a bit clueless. It's the same way about ants. Or you know, they're hard workers and all that. I watch one, it's going back and forth all the time. They go one way and then they stop and go the other way. They try to look busy in front of the mates. But if you watch one... If you watch one long enough, it's back and forwards, and it's like it's done nothing there.
I'm going to carry this twig back and forth until I can knock off at 4.
There's a lot of that going on.
Is there?
Because there's not. There's none of that going on.
There is. No, like I say, the moth. Depressing little sort of thing.
Why is it depressing?
Just the way it hasn't got eyes, has it? You just look at it, it doesn't know what's going on. I just don't... I think if you haven't got eyes, you shouldn't have wings.
That's a rule. If we could put that into practice, please.
That's a great rule. That's a fantastic rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you haven't got eyes, you shouldn't have wings.
Certainly true of people thinking of becoming an air pilot.